everybody, Richard Neese here with White Realtors Space Place. We appreciate you guys tuning in to the Real Estate Rundown with Richard Neese.
Yeah, now we're going on here now.
See, I'm behind on this.
Yeah, no, you'll be behind compared to what we've been doing on here. Testing new equipment, new equipment.
That's right. So let's get the comments up there. We appreciate you guys tuning in. This is the 1 year anniversary, and of course, it's got to start off a little rocky, just like the first one.
Right? Right. And to give you an example of what that first one was like, so we're going to show you the first 30 seconds of the very first Real Estate Rundown as a special anniversary show. So
make up. I think we might actually be live now. Let's see.
Really?
Do we do it? You know, we just did a 5-minute session. And I was thinking, wow, nobody has joined at all except my wife, which I love my wife.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's see if we can get some more folks on here.
Oh man, that lighting is terrible. So we're gonna show
you. You gonna swap us over?
30 seconds of the very first Real Estate Rundown. Where are we? That's what happens on the anniversary.
And the way that we can do that is trying some different equipment, because right now
what is going on? Oh, here we are. There we are. We're back now. We're back now.
You guys are watching the Real Estate Rundown. This is live. We do this show on Wednesday nights. If you haven't tuned in before, it's a way for us to help good people get to a better place. We're running behind on that.
We are way.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so, hey, just like the first one, we had a little bit of a rocky, y'all had a little bit of a rocky start. And then the first one I did, we had a little bit of a rocky start as well.
So we got a bunch of folks on here. We got Curtis Snyder, Adrian Cherry, we got Teresa, Kevin Knight, Marcus McCluskey, Justin Dees, Deborah Monty, Chris Green. Thank you guys for getting on here. We're trying some new equipment, new software. I don't really know how behind the feed is, but we're getting. I don't know if my wife's laughing at our first video or what we got going on right now.
Who knows what it is? Who knows what it is?
Wilson on here. Thank you for getting on here, brother. Brandon's on here. Thank you guys so much. This is our 1 year anniversary. If you guys haven't heard, we've been doing this show for 1 year. I know you can't tell it right now. We actually have come a long ways. We've got some clips lined up on here that shows some of our different intros. It shows some different things. We had one really funny video that is probably my favorite video ever.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Let's see if I pull it up. Yeah, so basically, to give you a little backstory behind this video, whenever I first started working with Richard, I was like, what do you want? And he says, I don't know really what I want, just whatever you can get out there, just want to get some videos. I was like, all right. So I have a favorite show of mine, and a clip came to mind about, hey, I can throw this together. So I pulled it together, and I put it up on his Facebook page. So
I'll let you guys take a look at it.
And so after that episode, after I posted that online, I get a call about, I don't know, a couple hours later, and then Richard calls me. He's like, what are you doing? Take that down now. Right. I was like, oh man, you told me to put something. He's like, no, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, it's been a learning process for sure, a growing process. We've done the Real Estate Rundown. We started it out because we kept seeing the success of the first-time home buyer events. So we wanted to be able to do that on a daily basis or on a weekly basis to give out that information for free without the pressure of having a salesperson standing right over you. So I said, how about we bring on local experts, whether it's Brandon Snyder with Willowbend, whether it's Chris Cotton with Cotton Home Inspections. We've had insurance folks on here. Chris Green came on. We've had all sorts of folks. We had one full month of nonprofits that we brought folks on. So we've been trying to bring experts on to talk about their field so that you guys can get some more information from the comfort of your own home. So we appreciate Regina Brown getting on here, Melissa Burchell, Craig Riddle. So I'll talk a little louder.
No, the mic.
The mic's on that side?
Yeah, the mic's on this side. So we have trying new equipment, and unfortunately, I forgot to replace the batteries in the new mic. So
right.
we actually have to go off of. We're actually using the iPad right here as the microphone.
That's right. So we got June Kelly get on here. Thank you, June. It's good to see you. And
I appreciate it, Randy.
After the show, I'll give you a call and we'll talk about that thing we got going. Rita Schaefer, thanks for jumping on here. Mark Nix, thank you guys so much. Please like, please share, please comment. The best way for us to reach more people is through you. If you can share to your friends, they may hear something tonight that will help them buy, sell, refinance, whatever the case might be. Artificial intelligence is a new thing that Chris Green's doing.
Well, something I'm trying to do is actual, just normal intelligence.
Yeah,
I'm working on that one. I'm still working on that one.
That's right. So, talking about artificial intelligence and normal intelligence, you've actually, believe it or not, you've got to have a little bit of intelligence to be a realtor. I know a lot of people don't think that. We were talking on the Wednesday radio show this morning at 10 a.m., named the same thing, Real Estate Rundown. We were talking about negotiating, and we're also talking about multiple offers and how sometimes a seasoned agent may have an advantage over a newer agent because they know when they need to speed things up, and they also know when they need to slow things down. So you want to tell folks a little bit about what we were talking about today?
Yeah, basically, sometimes in the negotiating process, there's always the thought of times on your side when negotiating, whenever you come in there, you make the other people worry. Well, sometimes you just need to get the deal done because of circumstances around the property. Something might come up, a house, like for instance, another house competing in the same market, to where when you're negotiating, a brand new listing comes up, and that's a comparable property, and it'd be a good idea to try to secure it at that point before you're even competing. And of course, I'm speaking from the seller's side. On the buyer's side, that's an advantage on that point. Then you would go and actually kind of back off, because now you want to take the time to look at that. So you just got to be tactful as a realtor to know how to keep a awareness of your surrounding, what's going on in the market with everything around you, and keeping your client informed in the process.
I agree. You never know when we got some issues with the lighting. You never know when you're going to need to speed up, slow down. Agents use experience. That a lot of times they use their broker experience and things like that. But sometimes it comes down to gut instinct and saying, look, I know this other agent. I know how they operate. I know their MO. So we need to go ahead and move on this. We need to lock in the deal. We need to do whatever the case might be. So that's why you've got to push to have that realtor that's seasoned, experienced, but also has the marketing platform on the listing side that's a go-getter. You've got a lot of details that need to be put into making that decision as far as actually selecting a realtor. So I know a lot of folks will use their brother, cousin, mama, whatever, whoever they know, but that's not always the best case. I know that a lot of people just try and not hurt feelings, but when somebody's dealing with the biggest purchase of their life, I want somebody that's skilled on the other side of it.
Absolutely.
We used a realtor, and me and my wife talk about this all the time. Jeff Taylor was actually our realtor, and Jeff protected us. We had a 4-sub owner we went into, and we thought, oh, this is a great deal, blah blah blah, and we were going to put in an offer, and Jeff said, no, we need to go ahead and do some market research on this and figure out what the house is actually worth. And it ended up saving us from getting into a bad deal, and we found a great deal on a house almost twice the size in the same general area, and I think it was about $15,000 less. So it was an incredible find that Jeff had for us, and he led us right down the path that we needed to be on. We got Jason Grimmett, Carla Denning, Zach Thomas, Holly Adams, Renee Smith, Larissa Kleckler. Thank you guys for getting on. We're actually doing the anniversary show. This is 1 year that we've been doing the Real Estate Rundown.
1 year tomorrow, to be specific.
There you go.
So it's been a great, fun year. We've definitely always tried to be pushing further and further. We're trying to deliver content to everyone, to be more involved in the community, to be more involved in keeping the education process going on for the public, to understand more about the real estate process, so that whenever you come into the market, you're not going to be sitting there just clueless and just needing your hand held on everything. You probably still will need some guidance, but hopefully you can have a little bit of information to where you can navigate part of it on your own. And I'm going to keep on talking because apparently hey, that's another one. Hey, let me see that. Another anniversary,
That's right.
Oh, this, you didn't give me a clicky. You didn't give me a
I'm going to
clicky.
keep it away from you.
Yeah, that's right.
So, we truly believe in helping good people get to a better place. We want to provide as much value as we can. That's why we do this show weekly. If you guys have any questions, comments, something you want to talk about concerning real estate, please comment on there. Please share. We want to reach as many people as we can. I know we've got a couple other clips you wanted to show.
Yeah.
Some of the intros, some of the best.
Yeah, so technically we went through 3 different intros in the past. The latest one is the head banging, the heavy metal one. But when we first started off, it had a lighter tone, and I'll give you an example of it right here. This was the very first intro that I've made that I was trying to get to start getting us to be a little bit legit.
A little nostalgic too. It's the first one.
It was. So here it is. So that was the first one. Apparently, we get a little feedback.
Yeah, that's right. Zach's all about some heavy metal.
I do like the other one better.
When we picked that one, we were looking at something a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, because it turns out that a lot of folks won't stay on there for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We started seeing a drop off because people weren't waiting for the content, so we wanted to condense it. So that's when we started, obviously condensed. That was the first one. We had one other one too.
Yeah, we have the other one. I have that loaded up
we
next.
We can share that in a few minutes. But we got Tim Knox jumped on here. I like the first one too. There's just something about that first one.
Yeah. It's like all happy, upbeat, and everything. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the name of the...
Happy and Upbeat?
Happy Upbeat is the name of the music track.
I like it. As long as you don't start telling jokes, we'll be all right. Okay.
Well, it just depends on the subject matter of the jokes. We're
going to talk about football and politics at the same time, right?
I'm not even going to go there.
So Miss Pauline, she said that we had a great realtor when we bought our house. He led us to a house I was refusing to look at. Very grateful he twisted my arm to come look. A lot of times when you're... I had a coach that said you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. Yeah. And so when you look at that, you're emotional, you're thinking about this, and this, and somebody outside of that can say, look, here are your needs. This is a great fit. Let's take a look at these other options. And that when you have a good realtor, especially a good buyer's agent, what I tell folks is I usually show them 3 to 5 houses to begin with, and I listen to what they say. I don't listen to what they do. I don't watch what they do. I mean, I'm paying attention to all the details, so I know they really want this, and this, even though they say they want 3-bedroom, 2-bath. They need 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. And I know that because you're telling me stories, you're telling me problems, things like that. So when you evaluate your client's needs, then you can take charge and say, okay, here's what you need. I found this perfect house for you.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of times in the same situation with Miss Pauline, back whenever I was active as a realtor, I would, people leave me alone, I would actually know the house they're going to buy. Yep. Before they figured out they wanted to buy it. And a lot of times it wasn't even on their radar, that house at all. You're just like, man, this is exactly what you're looking for based on your needs and everything. But they're like, oh, we want to see this one. It's like, well, let me just throw this listing in there just to see. And then probably 7 out of 10 times they love the house.
Well, it's important. You've got to have a realtor that's skilled in a lot of different areas. And most folks aren't great at doing both. They're not great at being a buyer's agent or a listing agent. It's one or the other. So to find a realtor that can do both well is very rare. But when you do roll across them,
no, there are those that do.
There are some, yeah.
Yeah, but for the most cases, someone people typically stick to a specified area.
Right. That's right.
You know, and even inside of buyers and even inside of selling, they have specified areas in which that they can thrive a lot more on it.
I agree. You know, we've got just one other video. Is that
This
right?
is the second intro. Now, this one came up whenever I was going through trying to find different music. Because just a little something backstory on Facebook, you just can't play what you want whenever you're having videos being broadcasted across Facebook. It has to be, you have to buy rights to use it. So whenever I heard this one, I actually bought the rights because I like the song itself. To use for an intro. It reminded me a lot of any of y'all who are familiar with the American version of the TV show The Office. It reminded me a lot of that intro on it, so I just fell in love with it. And so I think I made this intro. You had no idea I was even making a new one at the time.
I didn't. No.
And I was just like, hey, man, it's like, look what I did. And I just wanted to throw something together on it.
And, you know, I'll tell you, it added a little bit of fun to it because, you know, we were pretty stiff to begin with in Real Estate Rundown. And as we've done more of it, we've gotten a lot more loose. And there's some fun scenes in there, especially that one with Ethan. Where taking off the tie.
Taking off the tie, yes.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite moments, though, is when Chris Cotton, I left him up here by himself because I couldn't stop laughing because we had the ghost of Dominic floating around right here.
Yeah, we were
spirit of Dominic.
We were going to try to get a montage of some of the best funny moments of it all, but in the end, you know, time was a factor. You know, end up having to do work and not actually spend time on this.
Absolutely.
And yeah, Brandon, I know exactly. You know, whenever you got to be quick on it. So, and this is an example of a long one.
Yeah.
So here it is.
Well, we cut it down a little bit on this one, though, didn't we?
Maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe
Let's
5
play
seconds. So that was the second one.
Yeah, we had 2, and then the third one's
the third one where we just had to be like, hey, let's do something different. Let's just take it. Let's cut it down. You know, and give it a little people and understand why we do a little bit of an intro. It's not. The main reason is that we just want to show a level of professionalism.
That's it.
But the other reason why is, and this is a little Facebook tip for people out there, is when you're running live, one of the worst things you can do is stare at your phone and say,
you want to have some action.
Yeah, and say, we're just going to wait on a few people to get on here before we get started. You got to think about people who are rewatching it later because they're not going to sit through that.
Absolutely.
And so we created that as kind of a way to give a little entertainment for in between, but we went way too long on those to where
it's a learning process. Everybody has to adjust. So I've really enjoyed over the past year doing the Real Estate Rundown. I appreciate all the support that everybody's given me, getting on here, sharing it, telling folks about it. We've had several guests that have come on from all different fields. It's been probably one of the highlights of the things that I do. I didn't think I would love it the way that I do, but coming on, it's a lot more relaxed now. I enjoy getting the information out, and it's pretty powerful too when you take that not only with customers, but you have other realtors and people out there that are doing different things and say, hey, you know, we saw your show. It inspired us to do something else. Because, you know, I was actually inspired by Good Time Tommy. Tommy Davidson in
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Exactly. He was doing a real estate show. And when I started watching his show, I was like, hey, you know what? We need to do something similar to that to put information out. Now, Tommy gets into some crazy stuff every now and then, but he does a great job not only entertaining but also educating. So he teaches people about different things. He also talks about his struggles as far as where he came from and how he got to where he's at, and tries to encourage people.
So that's my next episode of Real Estate Rundown. We're going to go into the struggles.
The struggles. From being from Jones's Chapel.
From Jones's Chapel, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in. You know, it's the 1-year anniversary. Please share, please comment, please like. We do the show on Wednesdays on the radio as well, so if you want to tune into WKUL, we'll be glad to have you listen in. You can comment on that, and we'll answer live on the show. Any way that we can help you. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, you can always give me a call, 256-708-1511. we're just trying to help good people get to a better place.